Were there any people that were famous or any scientists maybe that believed in the biblical account rather than in the evolutionary theory account? You know, millions and millions of years went by. And I was amazed at what I found out. I'm going to just read some of these briefly here. Lord William Kelvin, he developed the absolute temperature scale, thermodynamics, and the transatlantic cable. Louis Pasteur, have you heard of pasteurization? Yeah. Bacteriology, biogenesis law, vaccination, immunization. Blaise Pascal. You know, there's, is it mathematics that's called Pascal? Or is that a computer language? Computer language. Thank you, computer language. He invented the barometer. Charles Babbage, calculating machine, computer science. Sir Isaac Newton, calculus, dynamics, law of gravity, reflecting telescopes. Calculus was a difficult course for me in college. And you know, I was developing this property in California outside of Amazing Facts in this hillside. It was kind of the lowest priced property in probably the whole county out there. It was just, and it had two creeks on it. And it was kind of this land in between two creeks. And I wanted to get down to the creeks and take them out to my country place I was developing. And so I had to make this trail go down. And I used a pickaxe and a shovel. And I'd work all day and maybe get 10 or 15 feet on maybe 30 feet on my trail. Later, I'd bring people out there. Sometimes they'd come after church or something. And we'd hike on the trail and go down to the creek and come back up. And they'd say, boy, this is a difficult hike. I said, if you think that this hike is difficult, what do you think it was to make this trail? You know, if I have a hard time passing calculus class, how much harder is it to develop calculus? You see what I'm saying? These scientists that we're seeing here, they're not so much the scientists that are following in the footsteps, but these are the pioneer scientists that develop the very sciences that the scientists today are studying. Law of gravity, reflecting telescope. Johannes Kepler, celestial mechanics, physical astronomy. Robert Boyle, chemistry, gas dynamics. When I was in chemistry, there's a law called Boyle's law. Some of you are familiar with that. Sir John A. Fleming, electronics. Henri Fabre, entomology of living insects. Sir George Stokes, fluid mechanics. Gregor Mendel, genetics. Louis Agassiz, glacial geology. These scientists believe in the literal six-day biblical account of creation. Leonardo da Vinci, hydraulics. Sir William Ramsay, inert gases. Bernhard Riemann, non-Euclidean geometry. Matthew Maury, oceanography. Sir James Simpson, chloroform, gynecology. Carolus Linnaeus, the classification system. Systematic biology. Lord John Rayleigh, dimensional analysis. Sir William Herschel, double stars and galactic astronomy. Michael Faraday, the electric generator, electromagnetics. Joseph Henry, electric motor, galvanometer. Does this seem to almost cut across the entire broad spectrum of science? They all believed in a biblical account of creation. Sir David Brewster, optical mineralogy. John Woodward, paleontology. Do you know what paleontology is? The science that studies fossils, dinosaurs, all those things. What's one of the main things they try to use to prove evolution today? Yeah, fossils and dinosaurs. Yet the very founders of the science, none of those thoughts entered into their minds. Or at least if they did, they believed in the creation account over it. James Joule, reversible thermodynamics. Georges Cuvier, vertebrate paleontology. James Maxwell, statistical thermodynamics. Nicholas Steno, heard of stenopad? Stratigraphy. Samuel F.B. Morse, the telegraph. Sir Humphrey Davy, thermokinetics. Joseph Lister, have you heard of Listerine in the stores? Antiseptic surgery. Francis Bacon, the scientific method. You know, scientific method, I'll just read it here. A method of procedure that has characterized natural science since the 17th century, consisting in systematic observation, measurement, and experiment, and the formulation, testing, and modification of hypotheses. Francis Bacon is recognized as the grandfather of the scientific method, yet he believed in the biblical count of creation. By the way, the evolution, I don't have time to go through a whole evolution seminar. It'd probably take 2 or 3 days at least. But evolution is really more of a religion than a science, because you cannot, it doesn't fit the scientific method, the theories that they come up with.